Hi everyone, welcome to Crochet Tutorials. I'm Kim. In this video, we're going to have a look at how to make this basic crochet triangle. I completely love triangles, aside from the fact that they're just aesthetically pleasing with this, kind of really symmetrical shape, and it doesn't matter which way you hold it. They are actually really great in your toolkit because, in my opinion, they are a little bit superior to other shapes like hexagons and squares because they're three-sided, which means you've only got three sides to join. This particular one I've made in 4 rounds. It is made in double crochet, or in the UK terminology, that's treble crochet. So you can see that these are double or treble crochet stitches. And with this one, I've actually used a chain 4 in the corners. And I did that because this is actually quite a chunky yarn. It's probably a 12-ply yarn. This one I made with a 10-ply yarn, so just a worsted weight number 4 yarn. And that I only used a chain 3 in the corners because it isn't such a chunky yarn. I thought that smaller holes would look a bit kind of ridiculous with such a chunky yarn. So if you were using a DK or an 8-ply yarn, you might only chain 2. You can chain 3 and you can still actually chain 4. It just will mean that you've got a bigger hole in relation to the actual stitch size. So, obviously the stitches are smaller with the thinner yarn. So it really depends on how you like it. But this is the process that you would go through to make it. As I said, it is 4 rounds, so it's really quick and easy, and we're going to be using double crochet or treble crochet in the UK. So let's get started on how to make it. The first thing I will say is that I have used a magic ring, and even though this one has a hole in the center here, I've still used that magic ring for that particular triangle. This one, the hole is completely closed. If you don't like a magic ring, you can just chain 4 and crochet and then slip stitch, of course, into the first chain and crochet all your stitches into that ring. So the way we would do that is just to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch back into this first stitch here, or first chain rather, and just bring that through. And then you can see that you've got a hole in the middle, not this one where the slip stitch is, but this one where you can put all your stitches into. Alternatively, you can use your chain 4 as if it was a ring itself. So you can put all your stitches into the first chain, and that would, because we chained 4, we've got this first chain here, and then we've got the other 3 chains, which would count as a double or treble crochet, and then you would simply crochet straight into that. However, I will say that it won't close the circle completely the way this will, but it doesn't matter. It still looks great, as you can see, with an open circle in the middle there. So entirely up to you how you do it. If you don't like magic ring, there are 2 methods that you can use alternatively. Having said that, the magic ring is really probably one of the most important tools in your toolkit in crochet. So just lay the tail across your hand like that, hang onto it with your thumb, and wrap the working yarn around your 3 fingers, still hanging onto it, and then come up, wrap it around again, and come up and cross it over at the front there, and hang on to that with your pinky. And then bring the hook in underneath that first strand and grab the back strand, which leads to your working yarn, drag it under and kind of turn the hook so its hook edge is facing up. And then I take this opportunity just to grab that working yarn again and pull it through that loop. And that is effectively chaining one. But you'll see that it doesn't matter kind of what I do to this magic ring, it stays in place and it's a very solid ring. So if you've had difficulty with a magic ring, this chain one will help you create a really solid ring. Okay, so because we've chained one and we're working in double crochet throughout the whole project, so effectively a double crochet is the size of 3 chains. Generally what we tend to do is chain 3 to get to the height of a double crochet, but I've already chained one here, so what I'm going to do is chain 2. And I find that that leaves less of a baggy kind of chain at the beginning. And I only do this at the beginning after I've done the magic circle, because effectively I've already chained one for my circle. So then we need our central axis, I guess, our central wheel is the 3 double crochets, or 3 groups of 3 double crochets separated by a chain space. So we've got the 3 groups and 3 chain spaces. So that's what we need to create. We've already got 1 double crochet in our chain, and then we just need 2 more to complete that first group, and 2, and then chain 3. You can chain 4, but it is a lot easier to chain 3, and just to remember that pretty much a triangle, everything's 3 and everything revolves around that 3. So then we're going to go back into the ring again, and we're going to create 3 more double crochets in that ring, and 3, and chain 3, and one last group, 1, 2, and 3. And you need to remember to chain 3, and now you can close your ring. So we just pull on this, you let go of your working yarn, just pull on this tail, and that will close your ring effectively. And then we slip stitch to the top of that chain that we made, that initial chain that we made. So if you chained 3, then you'll slip stitch to the 3rd chain, but I chained 2, so I'm this one right down here is the chain I made when I made the magic ring. Slip stitch to the top of that, and there we have our starting round. So that is round 1. And then we need to chain 3 to get to the height of a double crochet, and we're going to actually crochet into the top of each stitch now. So whenever we see a stitch, we're going to crochet into the top of it, and when we see a chain space, we're going to put 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and 3 more double crochets in there. So just double crocheting into the top of that stitch, and then the next stitch, and then we're at a chain space, so we need to put in 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, another chain 3, and 3 more double crochets into that same chain space to make our corner. So whenever you have a corner, you need to make a corner in exactly the same line. So here we need to double crochet into these 3 stitches. So what you probably have to do is just move these stitches aside a bit, and then you'll see that space there where you need to put in your first stitch. So that's 1, 2 and 3 stitches, and then we need to create our corner. So that is 3 double crochet, a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet, all into that same chain space. And then again, just move that over so you can see that place to pop that first stitch in. 1, 2 and 3, and again 3 double crochet, a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet in that final chain space. And we're back at the beginning of this round, so we just need to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 that we made, and that is our second round complete. So the same thing happens for the next round. We chain 3, and that chain, when you chain 3, you don't need then to crochet back into that stitch, which would effectively be right here that we'd put that stitch in. But we've chained 3, so now we need to go into this stitch here. So, and again, we just go into every stitch across, until we get to that corner. And then put in 3 double crochet, a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet, to complete that corner. Again, we'll need to shift those across just to give us the ability to get into that first stitch, and just continue across this side of the triangle. 1 double crochet into each stitch. Just like with a granny square, all of our increases happen in the corners of the triangle. So we just place 1 stitch in each existing stitch. And this is our final stitch on this side. Just need to create the corner, 3 double crochet, 2 and 3, a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet, 2 and 3. So then we just need to complete this triangle by going into every stitch along this edge, popping in our corner the 3 double crochet, a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet, and then putting in a stitch along each stitch, in each stitch along this side, remembering that we don't need to crochet into this stitch here because we did 4 with the chain up 3. So effectively this one here is our last stitch in this round. So I'll meet you back when we get to the end. Of course, you join with a slip stitch, but we'll do that and we'll go for the next round. Okay, so we're here at the end of this round. You can see that I've double crocheted into this last stitch, and this chain 3 is coming out of the next stitch. So we're just going to slip stitch to that chain 3 and complete that round. There is only one round left of this triangle, and again all we do is chain 3 and then go straight in to the next stitch. In this case, this is our chain 3, this is our next stitch, and put a double crochet into each stitch along this bottom edge of the triangle. If you heard that, that was a train honking. Then, of course, when we get to the corner, we work the corner the same way we have for the previous rounds, with 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and 3 more double crochets. 2 and 3, a chain 3, and 3 more double crochets. And 3. And the only time this is tricky is that you may forget this stitch, this first stitch that kind of has its place where you'd stitch in hidden under those 3 double crochets you've just put in the corner. That's the only time this triangle really gets tricky. So this is a basic triangle. Of course, there's more fancy triangles out there, but this is a basic triangle that's in the same vein as your solid granny square. So essentially complete this round just by crocheting into the top, double crocheting into the top of every stitch, placing your 3 stitches, a chain 3 and 3 more stitches into the corner, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so at the end of this round, as usual, you will slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 from the beginning of the round, and that is literally your triangle. It couldn't be easier than that, and it's a fantastic, well, it is a bit fantastic, isn't it? I was going to say it's a fantastic shape to use with all sorts of projects. You can make bags, you can make blankets, and you know, when you add different colors, if you alternate with colors like a white triangle, or you can do red and white, and it really looks kind of cool. So I hope you use the triangle. Certainly it is a quick and easy thing to make for a practice if you are just learning, and they are just wonderfully aesthetically pleasing. I kind of really like triangles. So anyway, that's me. So we've slip stitched, and then we just need to yarn over, pull through, and we can cut off our yarn and weave in the ends, which we all love to do. All right, I do thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next video.